Welcome back to the MLG Pro League Season 1 of Advanced Warfare gameplay. You see Elevate Spacely right there. He's got his hand on his face, not looking good. They just got absolutely mollywopped right there, Swan. 6-1 on the recovery SND by Denial. That seems to be Denial's map as they took FaZe out on that as well. And looks like Denial going to be up 2-0 in that series against Elevate. So there's strong knife from Denial.
Yeah, both matches actually, recovery was proved to be their strongest map and their strongest game mode combination. I can't see Elevate coming back, to be honest, from a 2-0 deficit. Did they? I think they lost their first match, did they?
Yes, I believe they did. Actually,
no,
they won
versus EnVy.
Yeah, they won versus EnVy.
I think even if they lose this match, they're still they're not in the worst position possible. You know, they got an unexpected win against EnVy, I think, for a lot of people. So to lose this match, it wouldn't be the worst situation, but at the same time, you want to get every match possible.
Right. You know, so just recap the night. Got everything written down a little bit right here. So EnVy versus Elevate. Obviously, like Swanee just told you, Elevate able to take that series. FaZe against Denial. You guys saw that series here with me and Swan. Denial able to take that 3-1. The only match we both predicted right out of the first four was Justice. Justice beating, I believe that was TK. Yes, it was TK. So Justice able to do work against TK. And then Prophecy losing to Rise Nation 3-1. That was a big shocker. And then I recap you up on what's going on for the second set of matches. Prophecy took out TK already. TK, they're gone. Rise up 2-1 against Justice. Be interesting if we can get an update on the score of that game, see if that is underway. Denial up 2-0 against Elevate. You just saw map number 2 there. And then obviously in this series we have FaZe over EnVy 2-0. Swan, I can't see EnVy really coming back.
I mean, honestly, for the sake of our predictions, I hope they don't come back, because 1 out of 5 is pretty abysmal at the moment. Yeah,
it's pretty bad. Now, you know, I took TK. Yeah, I'm not handing these predictions in, Ron, for our little pool of casters, because this is my worst night. I predicted like Maven. Maven's 0-48, I think. I took TK over Prof. That's never happened again. TK, they got beat like 17-5 on that last uplink. That was not very good. And then we both took FaZe in that first series. We both took EnVy in that first series. You know, 1 loss to Elevate, 1 loss to Denial. Which one's more shocking to you? I think the EnVy loss to Elevate's a little bit more shocking to me.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially given the uplink map, which I expected EnVy to fully take. I'm not sure what the other maps were, but
yeah,
the fact that if they were ever to lose against Elevate, I'd have thought it would have been, you know, last map S&D. But the fact that they closed it out on a respawn is especially shocking. Meanwhile, Detroit uplink, I think it is next, versus EnVy and FaZe. An interesting factor in this will be whether FaZe learned from their Denial match, because it was, I think they actually lost it in the dying moments. I think they lost it in the last 20 seconds.
Yep.
So it'll be interesting if they learn from that mistake and can carry it on to this game.
Yeah, and EnVy was a very strong uplink team when, you know, Advanced Warfare first came out. And I know me and Ben talk about it all the time is, you know, has everyone caught up to EnVy and then EnVy not adjusted further, or, you know, they just kind of fell down with the rest of the pack? I mean, it seems that everyone's kind of caught up and past EnVy, and it doesn't seem like in uplink. And nobody from EnVy, they're really not trying anything different, not really adjusting to anybody's new strategies. It's kind of been a struggle a little bit for them lately.
Yeah, I mean, uplink's interesting, actually, because every other game mode, you know, we've seen on multiple Call of Duties, at least, you know, CEF, S&D, Hardpoint, they're all regimented, they're all uniform, and the strategy, it's universal. You know, everyone knows how to play them, and everyone plays them more or less the same way. Whereas uplink, because it's so different, because we've never seen anything like it, you know, in COD before, it's taken people a while to adjust to how to play, you know, and a lot of people have really different strategies and approach it in a really different way. And whereas EnVy, you know, before the update, before passing was more prominent, you know, perhaps they were more successful, but as the meta games adapted, you know, as you said, they've just fallen behind a bit, I think.
Yeah, I think, you know, EnVy, one of the first teams to really, you know, take advantage of the passing, you know, cross map. And right here, it's on your screen, it's going to be slacked from Justice, and it looks like they are going to be up 3-1 right here in this uplink game as we wait for this game number 3 from EnVy FaZe to start up. So this is the first round of Rise Justice. Remember, Rise up 2-1 in this series thus far. So this is a must-win map for Justice.
Yeah, it'll be interesting if we can, well, if we get time, if we can jump on board with that last map versus just doesn't rise because it's a really important map for Rise. It pretty much determines their future in the league and whether they can recover from their I think it's 1-7 at the moment, are they?
Yeah, it's not good. Whatever, they're not good.
No.
Yeah, their record's not good. I think, here, let me ask you a question. These teams continue to struggle, Rise and TK. Do we see a roster change by the end of the week?
I think with TK, you need to think about the fact that they've got a team house coming up, so perhaps they're going to wait for that, stick with the same roster, see if that affects their performance, which I think it will affect them positively.
Yeah.
It has to. Having a team house and having that option, not only to improve chemistry together, but that quad host, which is undeniably effective online. And I think that could be a factor in them turning their misfortune around in the league so far. But as for other teams, I think a roster change is inevitable sometime. I think most likely after Orlando, but I think we'll see a few changes down to their performance in the league.
Yeah, I think I can definitely see Rise changing before I can see TK. I think TK, they'll try and stick it out until Orlando, and they played pretty well at Columbus. If it's not going at Orlando and it's not just clearly an online thing, then I think you might start hearing rumblings about stuff going on there. But if Rise keeps going down the way they're going, I can't see them not making a roster change or some kind of, you need to make some kind of change up. I mean, obviously, you finished the week at 3-14. Things aren't working. Things didn't really work in your favor at Columbus. I wanted to pick them in my top 8. I like all those guys. I think they're all good players, but just something about this team just doesn't click. And they didn't get top 8 at Columbus. It's a very disappointing event for them. They've started pretty bad in the league. You can't kind of let that compound because it starts to eat at your confidence a little bit. People start to get agitated with other people, and nothing good comes out of that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's an interesting point, actually. The fact that if teams were to make a change, if TK or Rise were to make a change, TK, they have that event to fall back on. They have that, success at Columbus, which think, oh, hang on a minute, the last event, I think we should stay together. Look how we played online, and with the team house coming up. Whereas Rise, they haven't been performing well online, and they had quite a disappointing Columbus. So it's not an ideal situation for them at the moment.
If Rise would have had a better Columbus, I don't think we would really have that same kind of lingering discussion. But to not get top 8 and then kind of just really start really poorly in the league.
I mean, TK, they've always, Sharp in theory especially, they've always excelled online a lot more than online. They've never been good online. Whereas Rise, I think they had, if I'm not mistaken, was it season 3 of Ghost? They had a really good season, I think. Or
yes,
one of the
they
seasons.
did. It was when they had Looney and Attach. They were very good online. So they were a very talented online squad.
Even though it's 2 different players, they still retained the core of the roster. Wheats and Pac-Man, I think it was. So, I mean, they don't really have any excuses as to why they're doing badly at the moment.
No, absolutely. And you see on the left-hand side of your screen, that is going to be Denial against Elevate, which is 0-0 in that uplink game, 2-0 in favor of Denial. And then, obviously, on your right, you see Justice beating, that is going to be Rise on your right-hand side of the screen. Just waiting for Aches to join the lobby. That's all we're waiting for this uplink game to start between EnVy and FaZe. But now, if you're Rise, you almost need to make a move just to make a move, I think. Obviously, it's not working. It just looks kind of odd sticking it out with this team. And eventually you're just going to have players get frustrated and just leave. You're probably at that point already. I mean, I don't know if you saw yesterday, but after they won their first game, they were tweeting like they just won champs. I mean, they were going crazy.
I mean, that's when it's bad times, to be honest. But if I were them, I mean, I don't know much about the situation. I haven't had a chance to listen to their in-game communication, their frustration outside of the game. But I'd give it until Orlando at least, unless it's really going to jeopardize, as individuals, their chances of placing well at Orlando. I'd give it at least until Orlando to see how they do. Give it another shot at an event, even though Columbus was disappointing, and then move forward from there.
Yeah, I think you'll probably see them make it to Orlando unless they have another really bad week in the league, and then obviously I'd imagine the players start to talk at that point, what is going on, and should we just try and change? Maybe it's a mutual thing that they can figure out. But you see, with about a minute to go, it's going to be Justice up 8-3 against Rise. So looks like that one will go the distance, as I believe this is map number 4. Is that what I've been told? And then on the other side of the screen, you see Attach, and he is just ripping it up against, that is going to be Elevate. Yeah, so Elevate over there on the left-hand side, Elevate versus Denial, and then Justice versus Rise. Denial scores again to go 4-0 against Elevate. And this is the Denial you kind of expected, Swan. I think that the one tonight is kind of what you envisioned when this team first came together.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they've really stepped it up, and alongside, as we said earlier, Recovery S&D, they were really strong at this. Detroit uplink was one they beat FaZe on as well. So it's handy, when you get in the map pool, you get a repeat of maps you've already played on the night, because you feel at home, you feel warmed up on them, you know what you're doing on them. And if we're waiting to see this EnVy and FaZe game, if FaZe, on the other hand, they've played it and they lost it, but it'll give them time to think about their mistakes and approach it again. And I think X is finally in the lobby. Could have been another case
finally in the lobby.
The Pat Price mind games, I think, frustrating EnVy a bit, but he's finally in and ready to go.
And you see EnVy, they started up right away. There is no hesitation. So we can jump right into the game, Ron. No hesitation right now. Map is loading up. Looked like we're going to stay board. Oh, no, never mind. We're going to switch. Looks like Ron made his mind up. So we're going to get into this Detroit uplink game between FaZe and EnVy. We'll update you on all the other scores. It looks like that Justice Rise game going to game number 5, so we'll try and get you an update against that. And then obviously Denial up 2-0 against Elevate with the lead in that second half of that Detroit uplink. But who do you want to start on board with here first? You want to start on board with FaZe or EnVy first?
I think FaZe, to be honest. I want to see how they've adapted their playstyle from the last match. Yeah,
absolutely. I agree. I want to go on board with Slasher first, as he is going to be going into school, and he just completely dominated that Search and Destroy, that round 11, getting that ace. But he is taken out right off the bat by Clayster with a very fast kill, and Clay is going to pick up that satellite drone, just try and hold on to it and get it out towards school, and he's able to make it into school. Looks like he has one player in front of him that's going to kind of go in as his guy. It's going to be Merc. He's going to take out one. Merc is going to drop, and Clay just trying to bait this drone out. Very nice play right there, but he is eventually killed by Patrick Price, who's going to try and run it out. But he is taken out, so drone down in that courtyard by school.
Yeah, and I think you'll see a lot of that, especially against two teams such as these who are fairly evenly matched in this lane. You'll see a lot of, dead ball situations where both teams are just fighting over the mid-map control, fighting over the ball and trying to establish some routes to run it. But JCab has actually managed to get through here, picks up the 2-pointer within the first 4 minutes, which is pretty impressive indeed. And it's the same as what happened with FaZe and Denial earlier. FaZe have conceded a 2-pointer within the first minute of the game, which isn't ideal.
Looks like Merc, he's going to be going into the school as well. If this player in front of him can get a kill, that would have been able to get a 2-point score. Trying to beat this player down, actually tried to throw it in.
I don't know what happened there. I think he threw the ball to him. Or
I think he tried to throw that into the uplink, but actually it was Slasher who was just standing in front instead of, throwing it up. He actually threw it into Slasher, who was able to just run by. It looks like Apthy, he's in a tough situation. Pat Price going to come in, try and pick up those kills, but he's going to get stacked up right there, and it's going to be JCap jumping this one, going directly over a player from FaZe, able to score that one. JCap just making amazing plays with the satellite drone.
JCap again, not only did he get the cap, but he got the 2-piece to open up school and actually the route to cap it. So he is really making plays. I mean, we've seen on this, and I'm not so much the S&D, but we saw especially on the hardpoint bio lab that he was by far their best player.
Yeah, definitely by far their best player. I thought I think JCap on Advanced Warfare has been a very good player for EnVy. Had his ups and downs in Ghost, but I think this game definitely suits his playstyle extremely well. Able to play that fast AR type of role. We're going to see Slasher. He's going to run up. He's just going to try and get yardage on that satellite drone. It's pretty much the strategy we see from FaZe all the time. Apathy on your screen, missing tons of shots, shooting at the ground. Clayster able to take him out, and EnVy back on the offensive with the satellite drone.
Yeah, trying to push into school again, which it's the normal thing to do. You want to get the ball, push it school, clear them out, and then that's the easiest route to the flag. And you'll notice if you look at the map, the reason this side is so favoured, the side which EnVy are on, is because the route to the flag is so concealed, and there are a lot less places where you can get shot from, where it's running the flag the way Sensors running it now, it's a lot more open, you know, where the shack, you've got people who can jump on the roof through the mid road, and it's a lot harder to establish map control.
Yeah, but it seems like Sensors made his way through, and he's going to get a 2-point score.
Too soon. You just get the 2-pointer, which is huge.
That was very odd, the way he made that through. I think it came up with Slasher getting 2 kills, but if Sensor in the EnVy base, it looks like Ake's going to try and throw that one up to him, but not able to get there. Slasher, he's going to be middle by hospital. It looks like Apathy's going to try and put pressure on this player over there as well. Slasher's going to go down. The nice play from Sensor right there. I think if FaZe can go into this second half, Swan, you know, only down, you know, 1 point, I think it would be very good half for them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially since they're on bad side at the moment. What I will point out is that I don't know who that was. Do you know who that was who capped that? Was it Murph?
That was
perhaps?
Nameless.
Nameless. If you noticed on the mini-map, it was an incredibly smart play. He had the ball office or hospital, as people like to call it, and he rotated it all the way through school. Instead of, you know, rushing it and pushing it green, he rotated the ball all the way across the map and got the cap.
Yeah, and you see JCap, he's going to get the satellite drone twice, and he's just going to throw that off the map, trying to get that reset as it's going to go back to the middle, and we are going to have the last minute of the first round with EnVy up 6-2 in this uplink against FaZe. It looks like Nameless going to try and give Clayster some cover right there. We're going to go on board Clayster as the drone carrier. He is taken out right away, and it looks like Slasher going to try and bring this one out from school into the middle, and he's going to get a pretty nice chance to throw that, but he's going to try and go for 2. He's going to be taken out. I might have tried to go for 1 there. Would have probably got that one from that distance.
Yeah, I mean, right there when Clay had the ball in school, I would have liked to see him wait a bit more, to be honest. He had no support from his teammates, and he was just going for kind of the hero, get the beat down on someone and cap it. I think it would have been more beneficial if he waited for a few of his teammates to back him up and then go.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You see Sensor absolutely destroy a player right there. Looks like Slasher, he's going to come out, swing with the satellite drone twice. He's going to connect on that second one, but only Apathy up for FaZe. He's going to get hit with his XME. We just saw a drop kick from JCat right there. Great, I went on with him, and he's actually going to get that one in at the buzzer. Unbelievable final sequence from JCat. That was sick, Swan. I hope you caught that.
He has instantly become my favourite player of the night just for getting that kick. And then not only the kick, here you see it, and the final 1-pointer, which it does make all the difference. You know, they're going into it with a comfortable 5-point lead. Albeit they're on the bad side now, but it's still a good lead, given their standing in the match so far, being down 2 maps.
Oh, yeah, and I just got word from our producer, Ron, that Denial has 3-0'd Elevate. So Denial with a very strong night. Elevate looked great against EnVy. Not so great in the second match against Denial, but Denial was hot all night.
Yeah. I mean, Elevate, they strike me as quite a hit-and-miss team. You know, I think if things aren't going their way, I think they perhaps causes a few disagreements and a few arguments in the game. But if things are going their way, and especially if they're winning the Search and Destroys, which Killer's infamous for, you know, I think they can really be a contender in the league. Oh,
yeah, absolutely. I think, you know, when things are going right for Elevate, they're going right. When they are going wrong, just really, really wrong. And right there you see Clay. He's going to get that 1-point score in. We're going to have to see FaZe go pretty huge in this second half to make an attempt. Sensor, he's going to have the satellite drone in the middle. Nowhere to go. And, you know, just kind of running around the map. Nothing really good from this FaZe team on this uplink Detroit game.
Yeah, and I mean, if you look at... if everyone who's watching takes a look at the minimap as well, you'll see immediately, each time each individual spawns for EnVy, they're constantly pushing school, they're constantly establishing spawn control in school, instead of just overextending the alley and giving it up.
Yeah, that's a very good point. You know, we didn't see FaZe do that at all, and you see Aches on your screen just looking kind of lost, you know, not really knowing where to go. He's going to pick up one. Looks like Sensor's going to pick up another, but they need the drone. They need to start pushing and getting these scores quick, Swan. You know, they are... I'm not saying they're running out of time. They're 3 minutes to go, but they need to start kind of mounting some kind of offense, start getting a little bit on a good streak.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, with 3 minutes, especially with the way EnVy's just effectively holding up the ball, they need to get a move on at the minute.
Yeah, and Ake's able to take out Clayster through the wall right there. He's going to walk his way through Hospital. He's going to try and make a play around. I think they're going to really need to try and push the school like you were saying, but it looks like they're going to go straight up the middle of the map, it looks like, as you know, Apathy going to try and throw that one over in the corner, but it's going to be reset, so they're going to have to go back and get it. But you know, their Slayers are killing in the base. They're just going to need to hold it off for a little bit longer. It's actually going to be a pass going to Aix,
Yeah,
and he's going to get a 2-point score.
For Aix, to be honest, it was great. I mean, they recognized that, you know, once again, EnVy, they had control of skill, and this time they decided not to push it, but to go around the side, and Aix got the cap.
Yeah, and he was able to get the cap, and it's going to be Merc who's going to get the satellite drone. He's going to bring it into Garage, and he's going to try and run this down the bottom. He's actually going to throw that one downstairs into Garage, and then he's going to try and wrap down through this area, but the player from FaZe with the satellite drone trying to make it out. Actually, Merc, still on your screen, he is going to go into Possible, pick up the drone. He's going to go down. Aix going to pick up the drone. He's going to go down as well. People just trading kills. Cap's going to try and get some yards on it. Going to bounce it up, and it is not going to go in. So we see a lot of players try and do that with the bounce off the top of the glass platform into the goal.
Yeah, as the game's gone, and I kind of expected this, you know, when we managed to play at Gamescom in Cologne on the beta when the game first came out, and I instantly said, you know, as the game goes on, if Uplink's a competitive game mode, which it is, it's a great game mode, you're going to see more and more spots for balls and more throw spots being practiced, you know, just like grenade spots, kind of.
Yeah. And yeah, we saw yesterday Crim was trying desperately to get one to go in from the middle center platform where the satellite spawns all the way up into the you know, glass area. But see, Aix with the satellite drone almost makes it by right there. Looks like Nameless going to have the drone. He's just going to play ball with that one. So EnVy holding on to a 4-point lead here in the second half of Uplink Detroit. If you're just joining us, FaZe has won the first 2 maps. This is map number 3 between them and EnVy, obviously, and you know, EnVy up trying to extend this series to a map number 4.
Yeah, and I in a minute, the way EnVy's playing, I just can't see FaZe bringing it back. You know, once again, they've got numbers in skill, they've got the ball, they're just going to hold it up at the moment. There's no reason for them to go for a cap, and as they've been doing for the past 3 minutes, they're playing defensive, they're playing for map control, they're just playing to frustrate the other team, basically, and not let them cap the ball. Yeah,
and you see that the players from FaZe getting extremely aggressive, and I'm on board with JCap right now. Actually, he was set up in a very good position to get this play ball, and he actually is going to be able to. I thought he was just going to play for that straight up, but looks like JCap's going to go for that same thing that Crim was going for the other day, but he did not decide to throw the ball. He's going to try and go in for 2. If he can get this would be a huge play. Great stop, though, at the goal line, so to speak. Clayster able to pick up 2, not able to get the satellite drone. Looks like Nameless, he's going to be the last one in there, but a great pass attempt from the player of FaZe. Nameless still in the FaZe base, but this one is over, Swanee. It's going to be EnVy winning Detroit Uplink, forcing a game number 4 against FaZe. You know, FaZe needs to work on their Detroit Uplink game. Have not looked good on it all night.
Yeah, I mean, that was a decisive victory. Unlike the Denial game versus FaZe, where it was kind of a last-second, you know, last-ditch attempt in the dying moments of the game, that was a decisive victory from EnVy. Even though, you know, it's not a huge blowout, you know, a 20-0 scoreline. I think the 8-4 scorelines, it's pretty deceptive, you know, because they had control of the game from the early seconds when they got that cap.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. You know, right from the beginning of that game, EnVy pretty much had all map control. FaZe able to get 4 points, but you know, not really great points, so to speak, you know, to kind of get lucky on a counter. So right there we saw EnVy take map number 3 between them and FaZe. When we come back, we will have map number 4 between EnVyUs and FaZe.